me, I can't read with my mask on because my glasses are all foggy. So is everybody okay if I take my mask off? I will not projectile spit across the room, I promise. One second. All right, well, welcome. Thank you all for coming today. How many of you have been in our parade before? A few, okay. Some old timers, new timers, old timers, help the new timers. I'm Nicole Harvey, and this is Tracy Richter and Grace Rogers. We are the Special Events Office for the town of Mount Pleasant and have the pleasure of bringing you this Christmas Light Parade. We're very excited because we've done the pandemic shutdown began literally like a day before our Art Fest, which is the kickoff to our big event season. And so the parade will be the first big event we've done all year. We've done some little things, and but we're very excited about being able to do this, which is personally my favorite event and day of the year because it just makes everyone so happy and really kicks off the Christmas season. So we appreciate you all participating. Of course, things will be a little bit different this year, and we'll talk about that a little bit, but just wanted to say thank you very much for participating, and I just know how much joy you're gonna bring to our community in being here and doing what you're doing and participating. This is, of course, the 25th being COVID parade, but anyway, it's kind of hard to celebrate a huge 25th anniversary on this year, but we are gonna do our best. And so thank you. It's gonna be Sunday, December 13th, as you know, the day before the Christmas parade. If you're not still super busy putting all the finishing touches on your float, take a little break even if you are. 11 to 4 at the Farmers Market Pavilion. We'll have the Holiday Market and Craft Show. That's a great chance to stock up on some winter produce and also some handmade gifts and art items. So it's a really fun event if you've never been at the Farmers Market Pavilion at Moultrie Middle School. On Sunday the 13th at 5:30, the fireworks will begin here at the Town Hall football field. They are shot up high enough to be visible from all along Coleman Boulevard in the viewing area. In the lineup area, you probably are not going to see them really well, but I've had some people tell me depending on where your spot is, you might see them. But oh, yes, sorry, I put on the little Yule log and then forgot to move ahead. Thank you.
Do you have a printout of these, or
You're going to, yeah, you do not need to take notes. You're going to receive this presentation probably 3 times between now and then. And the reason being is it is very important for you. We rely on you to be our sounding board for the people participating with you. So we just want to make sure that you're able to share it with them, make sure they look through it, because there's a lot of important information in it. And go forward. Okay, so the fireworks began at 5:30. I say 5:30, but it is highly dependent on the sun. So there's been years when we've had to wait and do the fireworks 5:35, 5:40. So if you are in the lineup and saying, what is happening? I thought we should be starting at 5:40. It very well may be that we just had to wait a little longer for it to get dark enough for the fireworks. So that is really when the kickoff of the event begins. So the fireworks go off, the mayor gets from the stage to the lineup, and it immediately begins. So at 5:30, you want to make sure everybody who's going to be on your float or with your entry is back with you in the lineup area and ready to go when you get called. The road closure schedule, I won't go through this in great detail because, as I said, you're going to have this in your inbox and you can look at it more closely and really kind of get an idea. If you have any questions, of course, we're always here to help and answer. The events at TOMPSC email address that you've been given on all of your communication and your parade application comes to all 3 of us. So that you'll have our individual email addresses and individual communication, but the easiest, fastest way to get an answer from someone is if you just email that events email address because it will come to all 3 of us and one of us will get it quickly. So, and then Coleman Boulevard, I include this for you all because just to let parents know and friends know, it reopens as the parade ends. So people sitting on Shem Creek are obviously going to be done with the parade. Santa's going to pass them before they pass the people down at Patriots Point. And so as public services and police and fire are able to get the road cleared, which means all the trash that people have left, et cetera, which is going to be a lot less this year, I'll tell you why in a second, then that reopens. So police turn traffic northbound as the road reopens so that people don't get stuck behind the parade. Every year we have people who say, oh, we got stuck behind the parade. And I don't feel sorry for those people because that means they moved a barricade and came out when they weren't supposed to. The only way they are turning south and getting stuck behind the thing is if they have come out onto the road before police told them they could. So, sorry, not sorry. So here's just kind of a breakdown of, on your end as a participant, some of the things we're making sure we do this year. One is if you've participated before, you're probably used to being able to have walkers go alongside your float and hand out marketing materials or little giveaway items. We cannot do that this year. So no, you can have walkers, you're welcome to have walkers. Please keep them, a safe distance from the spectators, and no hand-to-hand contact. So that is something that's a little different, and hopefully we'll be back to doing all that next year. Please maintain a distance of 6 feet. We've been in this for long enough now, right? Everybody, you just have to say social distancing. We all know what social distancing means now. So with people you have not been directly working with, directly quarantining with your family, if you have people on the float, do your best to either have it spaced out or make sure people are wearing masks if they cannot be distanced apart. And, theoretically it'll be cold, right? So mask is just a face warmer now. The new ear warmer. And then, of course, I don't have to go through all of these step by step either. Just make sure you review them very well. Hand hygiene, don't touch your face. Good respiratory etiquette. In your elbow, not on your hands, not on people. Avoid close contact with people who are sick at any time. I think you do that anyway, right? Flu season's been around forever. It's very similar to that. If you are sick, please stay home. If you get to event day or the day before event day and you have people who have been working together and doing it and you have to drop out, nobody's going to hold it against you. You will be welcome back any future year. Just let us know as soon as you can if you do end up having to drop out, because we will make the adjustments in the lineup and the judges' sheets and the MC sheets and all of that good information. And then just recognize personal risk factors. There are higher risk groups in this pandemic, and so you want to take special care with those people. The parade lineup is from Farrago, which is basically kind of right where the boulevard is, and Starbucks, if you're familiar with Coleman, and it goes back to, or it goes up to Live Oak Drive, which is the start line. So when you enter the lineup, you cannot come from the Ravenel Bridge side. You can, but you need to go through the Old Village and get yourself around so that you're entering the parade lineup southbound. Because the problem with if you tried to come in the other way, then we have to get you turned around. Even if you're a little car, when we have all the floats and the lineup personnel are in the lineup area trying to get everybody into their spots, which we carefully measure, it's impossible to get you turned around and facing the right way. So just make sure you enter from the Sullivan's Island side of Coleman Boulevard, not the Ravenel Bridge side. Wilden to Farrago Street for the lineup area will close at 4 o'clock. So just be aware of that. If you're trying to come around, there are alternate ways around. You're not going to be able to come up Coleman or down Coleman from that point forward, including parents trying to drop kids off. We will have golf cart shuttles in the lineup area. So one nice thing that we have learned in the quote new route, it's not so new anymore. We've been doing this for 4 years, but there's so many more places to drop kids off on that end than there used to be on this end, and it makes it much easier on everyone. So, whether it's Moultrie Middle School or down by, it's not Subway anymore, it's Tropical Smoothie, there's lots of those side streets that can bring you in, whereas before we had like 2. So that's very helpful. And then, of course, the parade route is Live Oak Drive to the intersection of Coleman and Patriots Point or McGrath Darby, depending which way you're to turn. That's right there at Channel 2 and Patriots Point Road. So you're going to go a little further than that, and I'll explain that in a second, but really officially the parade ends when you turn left onto Patriots Point Road. There are 2 medians along the parade route now. The nice thing is there's very little in them. There's not a lot of landscaping like there are on the other ones, so it's worked out perfectly fine. So at Shem Creek, and then just before Patriots Point Road, you will see medians. When you come to those medians, if you're in a vehicle, you need to just go with the flow of traffic. Stay on the right side of the median. And I mean, if you have walkers, they don't necessarily have to follow that, but the vehicles, we want to stay on the right side of the median. And then, do we have any car clubs in here? No? Okay. Car clubs.
We have one car club in this.
Okay. So this is the float unloading and participant pickup area is always the most, well, the lineup is pretty good, but organized chaos. It is very organized. Don't be scared when I say chaos, but there's a lot going on. Once you turn left onto Patriots Point Road, at that point, follow police instructions. I mean, always follow police instructions, right? That's just a kind of a given. I don't understand. People don't understand that. But at that point, it's very important. You're going to turn your music off, which I'll repeat again in a minute. At that point, because people need to be able to communicate. And at that point, you want to start getting your stuff together and getting ready so that when you hit the unload area, which is closer to Memorial Waterfront Park, you're ready to hop off and keep the parade moving. Walkers will go straight ahead. So when you hit Patriots Point intersection, we'll have orange fencing and light towers. It's not going to be a dark abyss. And so walking groups will go straight. Vehicles, floats, whatever, will go left. So if you have kids walking or whoever is walking behind your float, just understand you will get separated from your float. The walkers and the vehicles will be separated at that point. So if you have parents who are concerned, you're going to want to make sure you have at least some parents walking in the walking group, or if they're older, high school kids. We have a lot of high school kids who are going to be in it. They obviously are fine, but just make sure they understand where they're going. They're going to go straight ahead and follow it's going to be kind of like a chute that'll take them straight in to this green area you see where it says participant pickup area. And that is where you'll want to let parents know in that area is where they can go to meet their children. There's plenty of parking at the park and in that grass lot. There's going to be a big area fenced off where people will be able to meet up with their children or pick up whoever. At the end of the route, I just explained this all, but another thing I didn't mention is please make sure your drivers understand they cannot get out of the car. So if the people on your float or trailer or whatever need assistance getting off, especially that happens with boats. Boats are fabulous. We love them. They have built-in power sources and they light up amazingly, but they create challenges getting people off in the end. So just be prepared and have a plan for that. And then that's one reason I say when you turn left onto Patriots Point, just start gathering your things up and getting stuff ready so that, because you have a little bit of time when you turn left on Patriots Point and then you're going to turn right on McGrath Darby. By the time you get to police who are telling you to disembark, then you should really be ready to go. You've got time to get prepared for that. And the faster you do that process, the less delays there are behind you. Yeah, I got all that.
It's right on Harry Hellman, not McGrath Darby.
Did I say McGrath Darby? Yes. Left on Patriots Point, right on Harry Hellman. towards the park. Yeah. And this is really just, I wanted to give you plenty of visuals kind of on how this goes, because this is where I don't want you to be confused on what's going to happen. Also know and make sure your parents know, you'll see right here at the bottom right is a lost child tent. So that'll be one of the big, if you've ever been to a town event, we have these big blue town tents with the town logo on it. There will be a big banner on it that says Lost Child Tent. So make sure all your kids and all your parents know, if anybody gets separated, just head over there. It will be staffed by police, and they will stay with your children until you get there. So there's no need to freak out. I know, I had little ones too. You're going to hear me say listen to police about 10 times because for some reason people don't always do it. They are really, their job is to keep everyone safe, keep all the kids safe, keep everything moving along. So what they tell you to do is what you need to do. Same reason I have you turn your music off when you hit Patriots Point Road. Please don't start your music if you have music on your float or playing instruments or whatever. We ask that you start that when you cross over Live Oak. You'll pass by our lineup manager who will be communicating with the stage with any changes, which inevitably we always have somebody gets out of order or whatever. And so that's important for them to be able to communicate with the stage so that the MCs know to announce you properly and don't call you whoever you got switched with. And then also for the judges' sheets. So you don't want to get judged on somebody else's hard or not as hard work as yours. So just do what they tell you to do, and they will direct and unload the drop-off area, the police, and also please do not stop in the roadway to break down your flow. So another beautiful thing with ending it at Waterfront Park now is once you get everybody off and you go up, Harry Hallman turns into Wingo Way, there are lots of places up there. So just make a plan for where you can go. If you've done this in years of old, everyone went to the Buy Low parking lot and it was a zoo. Or Publix, but then they got stuck. So there's a lot of different places where you can go and just pull off the little pieces that are loose that you don't want to travel down the road with. And so just make a plan for that, but do not stop in the roadway. You might think I'm crazy, but I promise you it has happened. Just make sure, again, your float riders know what to expect and know where to go and know what to do. Make sure your walkers know that they're not going to follow the float, and have a unification location set up. Tell your families, your parents and kids, if you want to meet over by the Lost Child Tent, fine. Or if you want to meet over kind of where the entrance is, just know the park, kind of familiarize yourself and have a plan. And also, Mount Pleasant PD, and I'll mention this again too, but if you don't, I tell you I don't really do Twitter, but the only reason I do Twitter is Mount Pleasant PD. So if you travel around Mount Pleasant at all, that's the good way to know, like, what is happening here, what is going on. Mount Pleasant PD, during the parade, will keep minute-by-minute updates on their Twitter feed. So if there's a road closure issue and as the roads are closing, they will be updating that regularly. There's only one Santa. I know Santa has lots of helpers, in all the malls, right, and whatnot, but there's one Santa in the Christmas parade. He comes from the North Pole, and we don't want to confuse our kids, so please don't have anybody on your float dressed up as Santa. People will ask every year, what can we do, Mrs. Claus? I don't really care. Yes, you can do the Grinch with a Santa hat. But Santa Claus will be on a fire truck, not really a fire truck this year. Santa's going to be in a fire boat, pulled by a fire truck, making a little low country. And so please don't have Santa on your float. And a blow up Santa, yes, I don't care. Don't have somebody dressed up as Santa, because he's coming for real. Large vehicles and entries, if you're a big truck and a 30-foot trailer or 20-foot trailer even, you're going to want to get there early. So the road will close for the lineup at 4 o'clock. You need to plan to be there at 4 o'clock or a little before, in line waiting to get in. The reason being, you're certainly much harder to get into place than somebody who is a golf cart with 10 walkers or a convertible, Miss Mount Pleasant. So please, if you're a larger entry, plan to get there early, and that works for you too, because usually our larger entries, you have some finishing touches that you want to put on when you get in that you don't want to travel down the road with. That gives you time to get all that done and enjoy, go grab a coffee from Brown Fox or Vintage, where lots of little places along there that are happy to serve you while you're waiting. Well, so a lot of times people will get over to that general vicinity earlier and start doing their final preps, but the earliest the road closes for the lineup at 4 o'clock. So the earliest you can pull into that lineup area is 4 o'clock. Because we have staff will be checking you in, and I'll go ahead. This is a good spot to tell you in the past we have relied on you to put a number on your entry somewhere. Police have asked us to do that now because people don't always, there's no uniformity in it. Sometimes they're little, sometimes they can't see it. And your lineup number is really how we communicate with the EOC, which is Emergency Operations Center here. All information going on during the parade is being funneled through there. So if they say float number 10 has an issue and we can't tell what float number 10 is, that's a problem. So what we're going to do this year is we will have staff assigned as you check in at the entry to the lineup area. We will have numbers that we will have staff put on the side of your entry somewhere. We'll use painter's tape. If you have an issue with us doing that, contact us and we'll find another way. Chalk paint or whatever on your windshield, we will definitely find a way to make you happy, but we are going to have somebody put your lineup number on you. If you want to still have one in your windshield, that might help with the lineup check-in people, but I'll show you a picture in a minute of a good lineup number, but somehow or other it just never seems to happen for everyone, so we're going to make sure we do that this year. Whatever you put on your entry form needs to be who is on your float. So if you, Tapio said, we're Tapio and you have an amazing float, so I doubt you'll have somebody, but say you were like, okay, the Girl Scouts are gonna join our float, just email us so we can add that. We have a lot of people who pair up, banks and schools, or boat companies and schools, and we love that, that's great, but we need to make sure we know everybody who's included on your entry, so make sure you communicate that with us. And then once you get into the lineup, like I said, you're free to go grab a snack or grab a coffee or do whatever you want to do, but there has to always be a driver with your float. Sometimes we have to adjust people a little bit forward or backwards, and that's one reason why it is so important for us to have your trailer length and know what kind of truck you're going to be pulling your trailer on, if that is fitting for you, because we measure that out. As we put out the numbers on Sunday, late morning, early afternoon, we have a rolling wheel and we literally measure out exactly how much space we're gonna need for your float. So if that changes, that's fine. Just make sure you let us know as early as possible. Sometimes people think they have a 20-foot trailer and then they say, oh, somebody gave us a 30-foot trailer and we can do more. That's great. But you do just need to let us know. And then, of course, this is not a football game, so no tailgating. Y'all don't need to be drinking. I know people will do what they do in the spectator area, but safety of this parade is really dependent upon you all. So make sure you keep your head about you. Like I said, please make sure this presentation, we're going to send it to you as a PDF, so it will be easy for you to send out. There's a 2-vehicle limit, so we're probably going to be able to be a little more lenient with that this year than we are in years past, because as we had expected with the pandemic, the number of floats is not where we normally are. Usually we end up with about 100 floats in the parade. This year I think we'll end up with about 60, which is fine. We think that the crowd situation will probably be similar to that scenario, where on a normal year we have 25 or 30,000 people along the parade route. I'm kind of expecting that that will be more in the 10,000 range. And so, so if you want to have more than just your truck and your trailer, you want to throw in a golf cart, and but just everything you put in has to be lit up. It's a Christmas light parade, not whatever. Anyway. So Christmas lights are the name of the game for this event.
And really, once the lineup comes out, though, please don't add anything else.
Yeah.
Or change.
Yeah.
Because that'll probably be about December 4th.
Yeah.
So if you think something's going to happen, let us know before then.
Yeah. And then if you have live animals, of course, we love live animals. Look at that cute little doggy. Just let us know that you're going to have an animal on your float or with your float. And then if they're walking, be sure you're prepared to clean up after them. And just remember also, it's not a super long route. The lineup area is about 1.25 miles, and the parade route is about 1.25 miles. So, you know, if you're towards the back of the lineup area, your little puppy might be walking. Maybe he's used to it, though. Maybe if they have little legs, not so much. Same goes for little kids. And then antique cars, please make sure they're just in good working condition. We have an antique fire truck we would love to put in it, but I don't think that's going to happen because we're very questionable about whether or not it would actually survive the parade route. And we don't want to have to tow a vehicle off of the parade route during the parade. This is true on any given year. Nothing can be thrown from floats or vehicles. The problem with that on a normal year is it invites children out into the street, and we've had some close calls. And other cities have actually had more than a close call with kids running out into the street. So, but this normally we would let you have walkers going alongside, but this year, of course, no hand-to-hand contact, no handing out. And then gaps are a safety hazard. I'll show you some pictures. Part of the reason why that creates such a problem is that if there's a big gap, kids start coming out, parents start coming out, people start thinking that is it over? And so they literally have started packing up before, then they go, oh, there's another thing coming. So we want you to try to keep a good, not right on top of each other, but a good safe distance from the cars in front of you. And I'll show you a picture of that in a minute. Small children, before this was my job 10 years ago, I was in this parade with my small children for 3 years in a row, and little legs don't necessarily always do well walking that far. So you might want to make sure you have them on a truck or in a car, but as you can see from this picture, we have lots and lots of, you know, older elementary, middle school, high school kids who walk and do great. No dancing in front of floats. We are very careful when we do the lineup to make sure that we do not put a big truck behind a big walking group, mainly because that's just inviting a problem. So if you have dancers in your group, we love it, love to see them. Just make sure they are behind your float, not in front. And then make sure you have adults supervising and keeping them at a safe distance. I put this picture of this it's very dark. You'll see it better when it's on your computer. But, and what you don't see in that picture is a mom and a dad looking at the crowd out their windows and doing their thing. But if this little girl in her cute little black patent leather shoes slipped, that's an invitation for a real problem. So we don't want that at our Christmas parade. You don't want people getting on and off of the float during the parade. That's how little feet get run over. And no hard candy balls, rolling objects, or bubbles. All three of those things have created some pretty significant problems, not only for our town, but lots of towns. So we did have years ago where we had a child choking on a piece of hard candy and had to save him in the middle of the parade. So we just try to avoid that if at all possible. And then no open flames. Might sound silly, but it did happen. And so it's just time to start decorating. Who's seen Deck the Halls? Anybody? We want to see your float from space. So yeah, just light it up, get creative, be super fun with it. Like I said, this is the Christmas Light Parade. We do not have an entry fee for this parade, which I'll tell you is very not normal. But we do that because we want you to put your money into making your float awesome. So start planning for that now. Lights, people are buying up their lights and doing their thing. You can order them, of course, if you want to. Support local, we love that. You can get all these fun different kinds of things. You can order them online. You can get a lot of that stuff at Wonderworks or Target. Target has some really cool, I haven't been this year and looked, but last year they had some really cool battery-powered lights, all different shapes, stars, and lots of things. So just get creative and start planning on lots of people do a theme, or we don't have a set theme for our parade. We want you to have a theme for your float, so get creative and do your thing. If there is inclement weather, quite often there has been rainy, chilly mornings and beautiful parade time. So we have stomachs of steel, and Rob Fowler and Josh are texting us throughout parade day every year, hold on, hang in there. So if for some reason we need to make an announcement about whether the best place to find it first is going to be on the event Facebook page. So if you have not gone on and liked the event Facebook page, that will be the first place that any announcements get made. And I say go through Mount Pleasant Rec. It's also hosted by the town of Mount Pleasant and Experience Mount Pleasant, but some of those have a lot of other events on them. The Mount Pleasant Rec page really has the fewest events. You will get to our event. Or you can just search Mount Pleasant Christmas Light Parade, and it will be at the top of your search results. And then the other place where we will get information out will be Y102. Thank you, iHeartMedia. They're the official Christmas station. So, and I have all their cell phones. So, so they will get information out as well. And then, as I said, the Mount Pleasant Police Twitter will always have good information on it as well. We will answer our calls and our emails throughout event week. Just understand we get a lot, but that does not mean we don't want you to communicate. You may get an answer from us at 10 o'clock at night on a parade week day, but or even on Saturday night. Just know we will answer. It might take us a little while because we get a lot of phone calls, emails, etc. So, but if you need to make any changes or drop out or do anything, please just make sure you email us is the best way to contact us. We will have restrooms in the lineup area. The restrooms at the Farmers Market Pavilion will be open. We also will have portalets in several locations. The portalets, FYI, will have hand sanitizer in them, and there will be hand sanitizer stations outside of the portalets as well. And we have a regular cleaning and sanitization schedule going on in those portalets throughout the event. So, just want to put your mind at ease a little bit about that. Dress warm, even if it's warm. Occasionally we do have a warm December day. There have been a couple years when I never even put my jacket on, but more often than not, it is chilly. And even if it's a bit warm during the day, when the sun goes down, you all live here, you know, the sun goes down, it cools off quite a bit. So it's amazing what a difference the sun makes. And then make sure you share with your participants and your friends and your customers and everybody who's coming to see you, hashtag Vote the Float MP. If they can snap a picture of your float and Vote the Float MP with the name of your business. We have quite a few categories that are judged in the parade. We do give cash prizes. And so several years ago, we added the ability for the community to join us in the voting process and the judging process. So Vote the Float MP will give you a chance to get another cash award. And then here we just have, I'm going to give you some inspirational photos, kind of some of our favorite things we've seen throughout the years. And don't get upset if you're not on here and you had an amazing one. There's too many. I would be here all day if I tried to show you all of the amazing things that people do. But one thing I just did want to notice, you'll notice on these and you'll see them again in a minute, make sure you have your name shown clearly on the side, because you want people to know who you are and what you're doing, and you're celebrating and supporting the Christmas spirit. And we get a lot of media requests after the parade for photos. So if you you want to get credit for your float, right? So make sure you let people see who you are. And then also along the parade route, of course, there's a lot of excitement, there's a lot of parents, there's a lot of kids. And so just make sure your drivers are keenly aware. Their number one priority, and it's exciting and they want to look around, but make sure they are really focused on what's going on in front of them. And I told you I would show you, there's a good number, 72. Very clear, easy to see, but that's just now, we've never been able to get that uniform, so. And here's what I was talking about with the gaps. I need a little pointer. But you'll see when you look at this on your computer, it's easier. You see the 3 X's, that is a really big space between one float to the next. And so all of those people kind of, as they're passing by, are going, oh, where's Santa? Is it over? So just try to, and then you'll see in the bottom right corner is good spacing. You don't want to be right on top of each other, but you don't, a few car lengths separating you and the float in front of you. And of course, like I said, bright blue. When I see a dark boat, we're always like, what? You have power on board. Light that up. So if you're on a boat, light it up. And then this is just some examples. No sitting on top of cars or overloading the backs of trucks. People do sit in the backs of trucks. That's okay. But there have been times when we've had like a whole soccer team in the back of a truck, and that's a little nerve-wracking, and you worry about kids falling out. So nobody's sitting on top of, and don't overload your back of your truck. And then make sure your kids especially stay far enough away from the vehicles. I said that already. Here's some more good. Tapio always has their name really well done. I keep pointing over there if y'all don't know. Tapio's in the house. And then just some fun, more fun.
So I know Nicole talked about getting information from the Facebook event. Y'all could just go ahead and like the rec page and maybe say you're going to the event. That
Yeah.
kind of helps us with stuff. Like right now it says there's 26 people coming to the parade.
Yeah,
I
so
know there's
social
more, so-
distancing won't be a problem.
And if you say you're going to the event, then you'll get alerts if we post it in there.
Right,
That would be great.
right,
Appreciate that too. So
yeah.
we will send out lots of emails, but the link is easy to find.
When she says lots of emails, we won't overload you, but we are going to remind you. And if you haven't sent your announcement in, make sure you get that.
Email lined up. We've got like 3, so we'll get
Yeah.
that.
Yeah, and we have time for that. So, yes,
What's an example of an announcement, like exactly what?
you're not the only person who wants an answer to that. I know Elite Physical up here wants an answer to that too.
You can just sort of say like, if you've been in business for a long time, you want to wish everybody a Merry Christmas or Happy Holidays, or, did you sprain your back climbing down the chimney, then come see us, or anything like that. It's just kind of a short little thing, or a little about yourself, or the organization you're with, or, it's only the people that are kind of in the stage area are going to hear this thing, so you want to have the most information about yourself on your float. But as you're going through, they're going to read a little something, so something short enough to as you kind of go by, and,
Yeah.
so.
Simple as Merry Christmas from
Yeah.
XYZ
Sometimes,
or,
like if there's something unique about your float or something. One year we had a float that was built from like his son's motor, like it was built from all these household parts, and so they put that in there. Like it was a guy built a snow globe and he used a motor from the kid's little Jeep car or something, so things like that.
any other questions? Don't be scared. If we only get one question, that'll be the first time ever.
The parade, I thought it was going to be streamed online this year for people to watch from home.
It will be live streamed. Thank you for saying that.
Probably on the Facebook page,
On the
rec page.
Mount Pleasant Recreation Facebook page.
So make sure people like the page. So get our likes up there.
And then if I can twist Eric's arm, I might get it on YouTube. But we'll send that out in email as well, all the information about the streaming.
Yes, sir.
Yes,
What's the email address for, maybe an email address for?
to communicate with us,
Yeah,
events with an S,
event,
events,
yeah,
EVENTS,
right,
at
at
TOMP,
TOMC,
MP as in Mount Pleasant,
MPF,
SC.com. That's an acronym for Town of Mount Pleasant, South Carolina.com.
Now, the emails you get from us will not be from that.
That's gonna, they'll be from either T. Richter or N. Harvey or G.
So
Rogers.
if you email us that event, we both get that, but one of us will reply, it'll come from one of
Yeah.
us. So, but it'll be at TOMPSC.com.
That's just an easy way to get us all if you wanna
Well,
be able to
I'm,
communicate.
I'm sort of a neophyte to this area, and I'm not that familiar with that area down there, so I may need some guidance, although
Yeah, and Knights of Columbus has done it for a long time, so I'm sure you've got some people who are old hands at this.
And if you want to practice the route, you can notice all of our new decorations that were put up. on
Yeah,
Coleman.
yeah,
All the
oh
pieces
yeah,
that
has
were-
anybody seen the new reindeer we put up on Coleman?
I'll be G2 in the area.
Anyone else? No?
If you didn't check it with Bryce. I think it's
Anybody
really
who's
awesome.
been in it for a long time have something you've learned over the years that has been like a game changer tip that you could share with people? Negative. Yes.
Right this year, where is a good place to get supplies, like, I want massive amounts of those fringy stuff.
Say the last part again.
Like, they just, like the decorative things, like big rolls of that fringy stuff, or, well, like, is there like a place online that anybody would recommend ordering?
I don't know, but I would just Google like float decorating supplies.
You can look at, have you ever shopped at S&S Worldwide? They have a lot of decorations and stuff like sparkly, like metallic fringe and things like that.
Yeah.
We just get our lights from Lowe's. All of this stuff came from Oriental Trading.
Well, and Wonderworks.
Oh.
And
yeah,
Wonderworks.
a couple things,
Yeah.
So, but most of the flashy stuff.
Yeah.
is there, so.
Yeah. Yes.
Okay, so because I'm having a big old school bus, my question is, can you have walkers alongside the bus?
Sure.
Okay, but they just need to be decorated with okay.
Something, light them up somehow. Yeah. So, yeah.
There's all kinds of fun hats that light up, and I've seen things at Walmart, the hats that light up. There's actually, I think, even face masks out there that light up nowadays. So, just make sure they know they can't pass anything out.
See how I go from boring to party.
Now,
Yes.
because they're gonna be walkers, they do have to go where the everybody else is
Yes.
walking.
Yes, they will go straight and your bus will go left.
They're not going to want to walk that extra distance. It's farther if they were to go up Pages Point and turn down here
Yeah.
at Coleman. That's a good.
It's a much
extra
further walk
distance.
if they were to turn and turn.
Okay.
So when they go straight, they're gonna be pretty much right at the park. Yes?
Are we able to attach trailers to like a van?
Yeah.
Yeah.
If you haven't already put that on your application, just email me so I can add it on there.
Yeah. Anyone else? Yes.
Where is the judge viewing area? Where is that?
Right next to Kickin' Chicken, across from Meadow Coffee. The stage will be at the end of Broadway, right next to Kickin' Chicken, between Kickin' Chicken and what's that new cookie shop that opened there?
King Street.
King Street Cookies.
So it will be on the left side of your float though, as you're going.
But we don't want you. There's no stopping and performing or anything like
So
that.
you want to make sure your name's on that side.
Ideally, you would have it on both sides because there's people on both sides of Coleman, right? But yeah.
But at least the number on that side.
And what is that?
The judges station.
Yeah. All right, anyone else?
I'll ask the Debbie Downer question. If COVID numbers keep going up, is there a time you think the town would call it and we would know ahead of time?
That is not a Debbie Downer question. It was asked last night also. I have not heard any discussion of the possibility of canceling it. So, but of course we will let you know. But I believe that our plan is to expect people to follow our guidelines on COVID protocols and social distancing. I think we've all been in this long enough now that we understand how to take care of ourselves and take care of our neighbors. So we are going to expect people to do that. But we'll let you'll be the first ones to know. So,
Again, you guys all have the opportunity. If it's coming close and you feel uncomfortable, just please let us know. It's by no means a mark on you for anything.
right.
Next year, you're more than welcome to, if you decide I'm not going to, then next year, we're not gonna say, oh, they dropped that. We're like, yeah.
The
well,
weird year, we
Yeah,
understand
so, I
that.
mean,
So,
Really, y'all are gonna make the parade for us.
Yeah.
Everybody, the community, it's your participation, so,
yeah, that's something I always try to say, and I did not say right now, but just so you all know, we do a lot of the background and get everything done. But honestly, this Christmas parade is not what it is without y'all. So you all put in a lot of work to make it what it is. And we get so much positive feedback from the community every year about what an amazing event it is and how it kicks off the Christmas season and really gets people in the spirit. And of course, this weird year that we've lived in, people need all the help with that they can get. So thank you for participating. Thank you for all the work you're going to put into making it fun and amazing. And, you know, we are always here to answer questions, so don't hesitate to ask. If you're like me, you're going to walk out the door and go, oh, I should have asked that. So we don't mind answering lots and lots of questions. So thank you. Anybody else? All right. Well, thanks so much. We look forward to seeing you all December 13th, maybe at the holiday market on the 12th, and have a happy Thanksgiving.